What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even need a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One set.
What's Up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the One Set Podcast. My name is Anthony Irvin, and I'm here with my best friend and co-host, Jim Green. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing fantastic, man. Just riding a really good, positive vibe. Coming off the birthday weekend. Thank you for everyone that reached out. Anthony, you were the first one to ring it in last Wednesday night into through midnight on Thursday. We had a little bit of a late recording last week. And thank you for picking up on the editing.
Yeah, man. You've been doing a lot of picking up for both of us, so yeah, it's good that we can both tackle it together now.
Yeah, and outside of like that, oh my God, did we not witness like one of the best pay-per-views that WWE has put on in a long time?
Yeah,
like,
man. We have so much to talk about, and I'd like to say, because I was just talking about this with my brother, that we are literally about to start, like this is the episode to start our Road to WrestleMania series, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Like I'm stoked. Like we were both saying that we're into the Mania season right now, but it felt like it really hasn't kicked off yet. But this pay-per-view was the thing that we needed to just get the spark to really be into the WrestleMania season, if to say. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Cena and Cody. We're going to talk about the Naomi and Jade Cargill. We're going to talk about the Elimination Chamber match, everything from the PLE. We're going to talk about Raw. We just got done seeing Raw tonight, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We have a lot packed in this episode. Try to keep it somewhat short, but not too long. Dude, let's get down to it. We'll go with the card. We'll kind of go in order with it. We had the women start out with the Elimination Chamber match, and again, starting off strong with Liv Morgan and Naomi starting. Now, again, when I was watching it before the incident happened, I'm like, well, we can obviously say Naomi's probably going to be the first one out. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the music hits, Jade Cargill comes out, and we all think that she's going to go to Liv Morgan. She starts taking out Naomi.
Dude.
So, oh my God.
I got to say, like, Cheyenne took me out to dinner for my birthday on Saturday, and like she had the 4:00 reservation. We were 45 minutes from home, and she had another thing in mind to do after, and she was like, we can do it another time. I totally forgot about the pay-per-view, and I was like, it's probably just the women's chamber match anyway. Right. But then I was like, I mean, we didn't have anything going on Sunday. I was like, let's do whatever the other thing is on Sunday, which went to a old school throwback arcade, super fun.
I saw the things on your story; those looked pretty fun.
Yeah, it was really neat. Save that for another time since there's just so much to talk about here.
Right.
We get back and we're like just getting settled in. Turn on the pay-per-view. I'm like, okay, here's Naomi. Like all the women were in the pods.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, all right, they're starting with Naomi and Liv. And then I hear the music hitting because I'm like, again, we had just gotten in, turned on the TV, like not settled in, sitting down, watching it yet.
Yeah.
I hear the music and I'm like, oh, like not even thinking. And then I look over at the TV and I was like, oh, they're doing this all like right off the gate,
at the very start,
right off the gate.
And it's a good thing you mentioned the music. I didn't even realize it was Jade's because I think we're all still kind of not familiar with her music, and it's not really anything that's like big and spectacular. It really comes off like there's nothing like Aria's like off the bat. There's like that.
This is my brute. Like it's got a hard intro. Yeah,
her thing doesn't really have that hard of an intro to really get people to be like, oh, this is Jade. Because
Like to really like grab people's
it's
attention.
like
Yeah.
a very slow build, and then the whole like theatrical snow type of stuff with her. But yeah, so I didn't really realize it was her until they panned over her. I'm like, oh, and like you said, like they're going with this now. They're not going to wait until halfway through. So yeah, and then she just starts just annihilating Naomi. So
Dude
I mean,
slams the chamber door on her, and I was like,
yeah,
they killed her! They
they
killed
killed
her!
her. Yeah, man. Oh my god, it was just enough to kind of just really set the pace and like the vibe for the pay per views. And then just Liv being there and just kind of be like, well, all right, we'll wait until the first person comes out. And so I'm not sure if I missed anything on Raw with if they had any explanation with. I mean, I'm sure Naomi's going to be off TV for a little bit after being beat down by Jade. I don't think we had Jade on Raw tonight explaining anything, and it could be maybe I think I saw a advertisement they might be doing it for SmackDown a little bit.
So the whole thing tonight was the Rhea versus Io match, which we're going to talk about.
Yes.
But they had Bianca out there to kind of assess who she's going to be facing at Mania. So I think they were keeping the Naomi and Jade stuff all for all tonight to say, okay, we'll circle back to that.
Yeah.
Beautifully done, because I think Raw, like I said, we'll get to it, but I thought it was really laid out well following the Chamber on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. Like they didn't try to pack everything into the first show, but enough where you have to continue to watch SmackDown to still get more out of the conclusions from the PLE. So, yeah, just Belair being out there and not really acknowledging it, but knowing that she's going to have to talk about it sooner or later. So, I'm wondering, obviously now it doesn't seem that Liv and Raquel did anything to Jade. Obviously, there was something that Naomi did. She could have. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember when Jade got attacked. I think it was just more they found her in the backstage. I think so. I'm not sure if Naomi was with Bianca at the time or if Naomi had another person doing it on her end. So I have to remember.
I feel like it was back in like November.
Yeah.
Like because you have to think Naomi came in and took Jade's place, and they won the tag belts, and they had them for a while before.
And for a couple months. I'd say maybe about a month or two, I think. Have you ever wanted to start your podcast but didn't know where to start? The One Set Bros are here to talk to you about Zencastr. Zencastr is the ultimate base podcasting solution and now the all-in-one podcasting platform, making podcasting easy. They've sure made it easy for us to be able to record our podcast and our episodes every week for you guys. Once you've set up your account, you're simply one click away from recording a high-quality podcast with studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. My personal favorite feature is their multi-layer backups, which ensure our recordings are always in the highest quality, even during unstable web connections. And if you thought you needed multiple tools and services for your podcast, Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform allows you to create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code OneSetPod, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience as we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
That's a good point. Like I honestly don't remember if Naomi was present with Bianca when it all went down.
Yeah, I just don't remember.
Like I think it was back in November, because I know she was dealing with an injury of sorts, and it was like we didn't know if she's going to be back at the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H wound up basically saying in the presser that like he was like kind of kicking the can every week with the whole storyline, because they were like it was just difficult to navigate. That was like the first time that I saw him really be vulnerable, like in a spot where we like don't really know. That's when you see us kind of just you can tell when something's lingering like
Yeah.
that they're just like there's got to be an injury situation where they don't know when the person's going to be good to come back.
Yeah, so
Um,
like day to day, week to week, month to month type of thing.
yeah, and I mean, for them to pull the trigger on Liv and Raquel getting the belts on Monday and knowing that they were like maybe that was the plan all along, that they like I feel like they're because that wasn't Liv and Raquel's first.
Championship? No,
Uh,
I think they won it
no,
before. And
no, I was saying that wasn't their first time challenging for the titles.
no,
I feel like they had about a month before, so I feel like they were setting up for it. Like, okay, if Jade's ready, we're gonna pull the trigger on her return. And then I feel like they'd already promoted the match. She wasn't ready, so they were like, all right, well, we'll just have them retain,
mm-hmm.
and then we'll have them challenge for the tag titles again when we know Jade's ready to go. So
Right.
it just happened to work out that it was right before the Chamber match, and then they were able to make that spot happen at the Chamber, and I was like, what a way to make us care.
Yeah. Like I said,
To do it
it set the
right.
whole vibe of the pay per view like right then. They're like, okay, now I'm paying attention. You know,
Yeah.
because usually, like you said, usually the women's matches starting out, it's like just like how the Rumble was. Like you're like, okay, you're semi paying attention, but you're like just waiting to see like who's coming out, and like okay, it takes a little bit for the whole thing to get started. But I felt the chamber match like you were tuned in since that little cargo spot, and then you were tuned in and locked in for the rest of the match.
Yeah, I think for me, it definitely made for like an intriguing start to the match, and I was texting you and Matt at the like towards the end. I was like, this has to be the best women's chamber match I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like
I would think it the most competitive and most like uh all around just great works, great spots.
yeah,
Definitely one of the better chamber matches in a while.
yeah. Um, I was like, you know, I don't want to take away from Naomi and Bailey. I just feel like the other four in the match, um, I think their speed, like working together,
Mm-hmm.
gels. I don't want to say Naomi and Bailey are slower, but I feel like their timing isn't on pace with the other four in the match.
Yeah.
Um, like I, whenever I think of Bailey, I think about what she did to carry the company during the pandemic, and if she's like, I was in my prime during like the pandemic, and that stinks.
Yeah.
I will always remember her being one of the most interesting things during that was before the Thunderdome when there was no fans whatsoever.
Exactly. Yeah, it was just the little pictures.
and like us, yeah, before the pictures.
That's right. Yeah,
when they didn't have any of that yet.
just an empty, quiet, like building, which was eerie.
Literally, it was the Performance Center.
Yep.
That's it. And I feel like they did that for 3 or 4 months because I think it was like July about when because they did Money in the Bank in June. They did Money in the Bank in June at the WWE headquarters.
Yeah.
Which, hey, given the pandemic, they made the best of the situation.
Yeah.
We had not started this podcast until after.
Right.
Right. I'm trying to think of how many manias that we've gone through now. I feel like this is season 4.
Season 4, so we've definitely gone through 4, but I feel that this is like the second time going through it like in this type of like taking it serious. I think we didn't really go through a big series until like last year and like really tried to go week to week and build up because we had the Cody thing going on, so we knew something big was gonna eventually go down with the Cody and Roman thing, and now we have this whole thing with Cena and Cody going down. So it's like we were thinking, how are they going to top last year? And now I think we have something that's going to be able to top it, or even be that much even better. So, uh, I think even though it's been 4 years, and I think we did cover some WrestleMania stuff in the first two, but I would say last year and this year, like the two most times we'll be covering a lot of wrestling during that time.
Okay. So when we started the podcast, we were coming up on WrestleMania 38.
Yeah.
Okay. So still very much Vince McMahon running the show for Mania 38. We got The Rock and Kevin, or The Rock. We got Stone Cold and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Roman defending Roman and Brock Lesnar was
I was gonna say it was
greatest
Roman,
WrestleMania main event of all time.
Yeah. I think it was a Roman Brock or Roman something.
It was Roman and Brock.
Yeah,
definitely. Okay, it's crazy to think that was it 3 years ago, right? Because we started the podcast in January 2022.
22.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so for Mania's 38 and 39, which like I can't tell you that I was anywhere close to excited as much as I was last year and now, which is like it's the Triple H, the Paul Levesque era. It's
officially
like I don't even have words to say like how much different that it was last year, and you and I were both stoked. Like Mania was in Philly, you got to go, we did the tailgate pod.
Yeah.
And this year I kept saying, I know you basically said this earlier, that like after the Rumble it was kind of like, I'm not really feeling this Mania build. Holy smokes. And Triple H said it in the presser. He was like, we put the foot on the gas with this Chamber pay-per-view, is what he said. We put it into gear and we put our foot on the gas, and now it just feels like every Raw from here to Mania is going to feel like so important.
Must see TV.
And yeah, and like Raw next week, just such a stacked card.
Yeah.
I will say I thought Liv Morgan was excellent in the match.
Oh yeah, she definitely put on the show.
I think Paul said it in the presser too, where he was like, she in the last 9 months, which is from when the Rhea injury happened.
Yeah, and really had to, rely on Liv to keep that going. She was, definitely like spot on with a lot of her, promos and going and doing some, 4 to 5 star matches. Yeah, I would definitely say 2024 was the year for Liv Morgan to really, show us what she really had.
Yeah, Liv Morgan coming out party for sure.
Yeah,
100%. I gotta say the work with Alexa Bliss was really good.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like we're getting Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross and the Wyatts going after the Judgment Day. Like because the feud with Liv and Alexa Bliss, it's definitely happening because we saw it in the Chamber match, right?
Yes.
Like,
she's giving that like stare when Liv pinned Alexa, so that's gonna come back and get her. So yeah, Alexa Bliss will avenge, because they keep doing the little skits
Wyatt
to
teases.
Wyatt teasing for the Wyatt. So they're eventually coming back, and I mean, again, with that, not to be going too far off tangent, but I'm missing the Wyatt Six stuff, but I'm okay with it taking a breather. Because after their last feud, it's like, okay, it's starting to get a little stagnant, so just let them go for a little bit, then wait until they have a feud where it becomes meaningful again, and just keep the ball rolling with that. Because I'm sure you know, Bud Dallas is not like, I want this to be years and years and gathering and gathering. Like I think we said, once they really got going, we don't see this being something that, oh, okay, Bo's going to be champion one day. Or this is basically just trying to fulfill what his brother wanted, getting some good matches, good storylines, and then just ending it on a good note. So I can see this eventually going maybe another year or two, but I think he won't be doing this for the rest of his career. I think it's just more of like a tribute. It's still more of a tribute thing, but it'll be fun to see Alexa Bliss get into this and see what she's going to be involved in, and how her and Nikki Cross will be able to interact with the Wyatt Six stuff eventually
Yeah.
down the line. But I do like
Yeah, I
I
think
do like the Judgment Day versus Wyatt Six potential movement together. That'll be good.
if you're gonna break up the Judgment Day, you let the Wyatt Six kind of help do it.
Yeah.
Like they're already in a fractured state.
Yes.
It feels very much something like Bray would do anyway, right?
Right.
So you get Alexa Bliss tied into the Wyatt Six. Finally, we've been waiting for it, and I think with the Judgment Day in the state that they're in now, you let the Wyatts just crumble them, and then after WrestleMania, they're already talking about doing a draft after Mania.
That's
So
what I heard. I mean, I thought it was a little close to what they usually do, but hey, if they have to shake things up, right, maybe it's a Netflix thing, maybe it's just because they haven't had a draft in a while. But yeah, it'll be something interesting to see who will be shaken up after Mania, and
yeah,
depending on what happens after Mania too. Um, you know, yeah, I just thought uh, leading up to there's a lot of things that we can be talking about, but I know we were saying also with the tag team match with Trish and Tiffany, and then Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. You know, it was what it was. I don't think we have to really go into too much depth with it, because it wasn't like match of the night, but it sold for what it was selling for. Obviously, Trish Stratus being her 25th year anniversary as WWE wrestler, so they're gonna give her the recognition she deserves for it. But
being in our hometown, yeah,
perfect, yeah, hometown
yeah,
match. It's got to happen, and she's doing good for being 25 years in the business. So I don't think it'll be the last time we see Trish, but it was good to see her in the ring again. And
yeah. I could see, I could see us getting her versus Chelsea Green for the United States title at WrestleMania, and Trish getting a win,
that would be nice.
and um, yeah, I mean, she's 49 years old. She'll be 50 in December, and I feel like she might be going on this last little hurrah, just like Cena, and just be like,
Yeah,
yeah, by the time I'm 50, I think I'll be good.
calling it quits. Yeah,
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 I would not be mad about it, because again, she looked great in the ring for her age, for sure.
yeah.
Um,
And this is only just event, especially for Trish. I mean, for Tiffany, this is just giving uh her time to do her thing until she has to really start focusing on Charlotte. So that's going to be coming into play very soon too, because that'll be the match for WrestleMania for Tiffany. It'll be her versus Charlotte for the title. Now,
yep.
do I think Charlotte wins? again, it's kind of hard to bet off of Charlotte because she won the Rumble coming back from an injury. If that's the way that they're gonna try to go with it, then I'm gonna probably say she's losing at WrestleMania, because I mean Tiff hasn't really had many championship, uh, defenses since she's gone. But I think it's just more she's been stuck in this Nia Jax thing.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
so there's only so many matches you can have for her.
Yeah, I think for remember when um remember when Bianca won her first title at WrestleMania and then
Yeah.
Becky Lynch came out at SummerSlam
Yep.
and took the belt right off her, and then it it made Bianca have to chase
Yeah.
to get the title back at Mania again the next year.
Yep.
I I definitely foresee them doing that again, where Charlotte gets the belt and then Tiffy has to actually chase
Chase it.
for the belt because
Okay.
she had the Money in the Bank and just kind of toyed around with it. We all knew that the cash in on Nia was happening eventually. We just didn't know it was happening when it was coming, and I thought it was great. It was I want to say that was the first SmackDown of January 3rd before the Netflix debut. They were like, we need to do something big on this SmackDown to get the first SmackDown of the year underway, right?
And I think that's how they worked Rhea with Charlotte too. That Rhea had the championship, Charlotte took it off her, and then Rhea had to chase for about a year, and now
Yep.
she is what she is. So in a
Yep.
way, if they want to have value in Tiffany, they'll do the same thing, and hopefully it'll rise her up to with the chase and everything. And I think Charlotte at this point, just like Bailey and Becky, they're both at their levels where they've done so much that they can start putting young talent over, like
Yep.
Tiffany, to give them the rub and stuff too. So
Yeah, I just don't think Charlotte is that person. I think Charlotte's the person that they're going to be like, yep, just give her the title again. Because
right, when in doubt.
when in doubt. And also, I mean, Charlotte is going to be a 17-time world champion and surpass her own dad
Yeah.
for the title legacy. How many reigns she has right now, I don't know.
I'm not sure what the number is, but I know it's probably within 4 or 5, if not less. But I know she's getting close to it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there was. I mean, the whole match went like 11 minutes and 40 seconds, according to Wikipedia.
Charlotte Flair is a 14-time.
I was gonna say 14.
14-time women's world champion, having held the WWE Divas Championship once, of which she was the final holder.
Okay.
WWE Raw Championship a record 6 times.
Yeah.
Of which she was the inaugural holder. And the SmackDown Women's Championship a record 7 times. With the latter now being known as the Women's. Yeah. The Women's WWE Champion. SmackDown Women's Championship.
Right.
Yeah, we know that the Raw and the SmackDown titles changed over to the Women's WWE and the Women's World Heavyweight title. Charlotte is currently a 14-time champion. So like I said, wouldn't be surprised if they gave her number 15.
Wouldn't be surprised either.
And then, like, she's going to get that number 17.
She definitely will.
Just to be like, she's going to get number 16 and be like, I have fulfilled my father's legacy in a matter of 10 years.
Yeah.
Because she was WWE Divas Champion, and then the Raw went at WrestleMania 31 was that triple threat match with her and Becky
and Ronda.
And Sasha.
Sasha? Yeah, 35 was that one. That's right.
Yep. And we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Because we could just go off on so many tangents right now. I think Charlotte Flair is going to win at WrestleMania, and we're going to get the Tiffy chase, right?
Let's talk about the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match, the unsanctioned match, which I thought was just like we said, it was brutal. It was
yeah.
enough to it gave you enough to know that okay, they just were beating the piss out of each other, and it went for just about a half hour. So and I feel there wasn't really that much dead time. I liked the pacing that they did, and I don't think there was many times where like, okay, when's this gonna be over? Like you never knew what they were gonna do next and all this other stuff. So I thought it was a good paced and good match.
Yeah. It's pretty cool to see like the times for these matches and to know that there were only four. Granted, okay, the women and men's chamber matches are bound to be long matches just by the design of the chamber matches, right?
Right.
You get your women's tag match that's just under 12 minutes, and I I knew that the Kevin and Sammy match was going to go long, but I thought it was going to end about 5 minutes before it actually did.
Right.
So it was cool to see them get that time. I was also after the fact like, okay, is Sami Zayn just not in WrestleMania? like the the beatdown that he took, those couple of power bomb,
Oh
like
yeah.
ring ring apron power bombs that Kevin gave him at the end of that. I was just like,
he ate those.
dude, he used to give people one of those and they were out of action for weeks.
Right.
So Sami Zayn is literally done. I I didn't even see if I know that they talked about the match on Raw, but I didn't see any takeaways from it.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that Sammy's just out indefinitely until the time being. So I don't think you'll hear anything from Sammy anytime soon. So we'll see.
If anything, um, yeah, the match was a lot of fun. I really liked the barbed wire wrapped around the chair.
That was awesome.
Yeah, dude. Cheyenne was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Yeah, those those spikes are filed down." Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and when you saw Kevin take the drop toe hold into that chair and his face wasn't bleeding, that's how you knew that it was filed down. Because
Yeah.
flat rewind flashback 28 years to ECW days, those guys had barbed wire all over the place, and as soon as it hit them once, they were a bloody freaking mess.
Yeah, I was
Okay?
very
Like,
surprised that Kevin did not bleed after that. I mean, out of any time and of any moves like that, you would have thought Kevin's
that was the
face would
one.
have just broke open and like a bloody mess. But I was thinking also, I'm like, maybe because both their kids and families are watching, so maybe they wanted to keep it, pretty low key. Because if
Mhm.
if their kids are watching them, because they obviously know each other's kids, if they're all kind of watching, maybe they wanted to kind of keep it a little more,
Well,
less aggressive for them. But who knows?
and and we were getting a bloody Cody at the end of the night anyway,
Uh
and
huh.
the language at the end of the show, I feel like Triple H was like, "We're saving the blood for the closer."
Yeah.
Um, so I I haven't gone back to watch the match yet. Um, I just want to note that when we started and we were talking about um, what's it called? Well, we had the Jade return. Um, you were talking about like the Jade return
Yeah.
and the Cena heel turn. Um, like, how about Randy Orton getting lost in the shuffle here?
I feel bad for it because, like, he had this one and then he came back and CM Punk returned the same night, so he got overshadowed by that too. It's like, dude, like they keep bringing him back, but then he gets overshadowed by everything.
Yeah, I think that kind of stinks.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I was like a insane diehard Randy Orton fan. I, thought he put on great work.
Yeah.
I always loved watching him in the ring. Um, I was stoked. Like we were both like low key marking out when his music hit. I was like, oh my god, they did it.
Yeah, it was cool to hear his music again.
But look, I mean, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. I feel like if anything, Sammy's just off TV until WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And Sammy is involved in that match somehow.
Yep. I agree.
I will say, after that, I was waiting to see if they were going to do the Cody Rock segment before the Chamber, and they start bringing the Chamber down. I was like, they're really doing. I think I messaged you and Matt and was like, they are saving the Cody Rock angle to close the show. They must be doing something pretty big.
Yeah, had to have been some type of big ending with that we're gonna get, and we did. You know,
and dude, and I will say this is probably the best men's chamber match I've ever seen too. I mean, for the pay-per-view to have two of the best chamber matches that I've ever seen.
I was gonna say this has probably been the most stacked in a while because you had Cena, you had Seth, CM Punk, Logan Paul, so you had a lot of top tier wrestlers in there.
I definitely thought they were gonna swerve us all and have Drew McIntyre win it, and that would only just be like, okay, Cody's retaining the title at Mania, and in my head I was like, I mean, they can't just give us Gunther versus Jey Uso and then Cody versus Drew McIntyre, right? I was like, that just can't be. I was like, if anything, it's got to be CM Punk.
Yeah.
And
I know we all thought CM Punk was going to get his final moment.
I know we did the prediction episode last week, but like every day I was changing my mind. I was like, I don't know. What if they do this? What if? And that's what makes it so fun right now, man.
Yeah,
like it makes
I love it
fun
when we can think of the different scenarios, and that's, again, we were talking about, we brought up the fact that, Cena could be heel, Cody could be the face, but then if Cody is going to be the corporate heel, then you're already giving John, the babyface thing, so he's already been doing that. But if you want to flip the script, then you can have John Cena just totally annihilate Cody, and there's just I don't know, I just love the fact that there's so many different ways that it could have went down, and then when it comes down, you're like, oh my god. And then because we had thought about the whole turn, but never would have thought, okay, maybe that's just not what they're thinking, because Cena was saying like, there's probably not any chance I'm probably gonna be doing a heel turn. But then again, swerving everybody, which was perfect. And the fact that Rock has been giving us signals and like subliminal like things that this was going to happen, and it just went over our heads the last couple months.
Yeah, I mean, it was either Cody's turning heel or John Cena's turning heel, and as much as we talked about it, and I said after The Rock came in and said, at Elimination Chamber, I want your answer, I was like, if we get heel Rock and heel Cena together, I forget what I said to you, but I was like, I will like lose my freaking mind or something like that. Dude,
I mean,
Cena wins. Okay. Talking a little bit about dissecting the chamber match, I definitely didn't think Drew McIntyre was getting eliminated first. So that was a swerve. They pulled the trigger on Damian eliminating him, which a couple months ago, or I think after the Rumble, they had Damian eliminate Drew in the Rumble, and there was like some backlash that like fans weren't happy with it, so they were considering switching that up. It definitely seems like that's the direction they're going at this point, right?
Yeah.
Which we'll catch them on SmackDown to see if that is in fact what they're doing. I do think Drew McIntyre deserves a higher profile match.
For sure.
But I know Triple H is trying to keep Damian Priest a relevant contender, considering he cashed in Money in the Bank and won the title at Mania last year and held it until Gunther beat him at SummerSlam. That was SummerSlam, right? I think it was.
Trying to think.
No, because Gunther defended against Damian at SummerSlam, and that's when the Finn turn happened.
Right. Yeah.
That's when the Finn turn happened, and then they kicked Damian out of the Judgment Day after SummerSlam.
Yeah, SummerSlam. That's right.
So since then, it's been like trying to find a good spot for Priest to feel like the fans need to engage in him outside of the Judgment Day.
He's getting there though.
He's getting there. Like I feel like Triple H just needs to keep trying different booking things to give him the edge a little bit, right? And if anyone can do it, it's Triple H, because Vince would have dropped the ball on him already.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't even been relevant.
Yeah. Priest gets eliminated second. I believe that was Logan Paul's doing. And then, yeah, Logan Paul went next, which I was kind of surprised about, because I thought that Logan Paul was going to take out John Cena, and I thought we were going to wind up getting Logan Paul versus John Cena, because I really felt like they were going to give us the Cody and CM Punk match. They started teasing CM Punk and John Cena in the match, and then it kept getting broken up, and then they wrestled a little bit, wind up being the final two once Seth is eliminated.
Which I was all for. I mean, it was good because you had, almost like era and another era, and the whole CM Punk thing and John Cena, because they had, past feuds with themselves too. So it was good to kind of see them, 10, 12 years later doing it again.
Yeah, it was so cool, man. I like that they shook hands, they hugged, like to show the good sportsmanship. Seth Rollins gives CM Punk the stomp on the chamber floor, and then Cena
takes advantage
with the STF. Punk falls asleep. Cena's the winner. The chambers lifts up. Cody's music hits.
Yep. And once I started seeing that Cena was staying out there, I'm like,
you knew something was going down.
Something with Cena's about to go down, because he wasn't rolling out of there.
Yeah, Cena was staying out there. The Rock's music hits, and I'm like, we're getting a heel turn. It's just a matter of which one is it.
Who is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Cody comes out. Like, Cody's music hits. He's coming out. I just said to Cheyenne, I was like, this is not good.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, because once I knew Cena was there, I'm like, all right, something is about to go down. We got to pay attention.
She loves the both of them, and I was like, one of these guys is turning heel, and she's not going to be about it. Dude, talk about trying to get, not trying to get, but like pulling out all the stops to get everyone behind Cody Rhodes as the top babyface, right?
Right.
And by top babyface, I mean, we really wanted Cody to win last year. I didn't think it was going to happen the year before. I think you predicted Cody was going to win the year before. No.
I think I did.
No.
And then I think we both were saying again that he was going to win. But I think the first year he did, I'm like, yeah, I think, this might.
I think Roman might hold on to it. Yeah. Yeah, and again, like, just in the long haul, I'm glad that they did it that way, because if they rushed into Cody winning that first year, things wouldn't feel as important now.
Definitely not.
I don't think.
Definitely not. Yeah. Hunter and Rock and everybody are like handling this to the T of like, okay, if this goes this way, we know how we can troubleshoot this. If this goes that way, we have another plan for this. So it's like this has been most likely, planned out for years. It's just a matter of waiting for the time and the execution of it and how the audience is going to respond to it, and then having a plan B if that audience goes that way. Hence what happened last year. But now it's like, I think they're gambling with how they were going to shoot John Cena and Cody, it could have went both ways, but I think the ultimate decision for them was better just to have Cena finally turn heel. He gets his belt, and then Cody's back on the chase to get it back, and then finding out what happens there.
I hope that we get another like making of WrestleMania documentary on YouTube like we got last year.
Yeah, that would be so good.
Just to know when the decision was made to pull the trigger on Cena being heel, because I feel like from what I read, and you can't believe all of it. I will say half the time it's pretty accurate, like the rumor roundup, right? Apparently Cena and Cody has been the plan for months, which great.
Which I was happy with, because Cena's trying to get that 17th, but it's kind of sometimes hard to come in with two baby faces because we knew somebody was going to have to take the turn.
Yeah. Triple H said in the presser that nobody knew about the heel turn. Basically, like CM Punk's return, he told the boys on the truck, "I got this one."
Yeah,
and just to keep the leak of the heel turn in a really tight circle, like you just have to, right? And Triple H said in the presser, he's like, sometimes this stuff gets out, and we're like, he's like, it drives me nuts,
right? Yeah,
and I was
that's
like,
the internet for you.
yeah, that's just the day and age we live in. Just spoilers, right? Dude, Cody tells The Rock to go F himself,
and they didn't edit it at all.
and we sat here and we were just like, our jaws were just like.
And then Cole cursing was like the icing on the cake. I'm like, he never curses.
Dude.
But dude, I cannot just get that blank stare that
from Cena.
Like that was the ultimate. And I was thinking, you cannot get that unless you had acting training or something, because he was just like, went from like a happy face and just slowly turned into that like very dark face. And I think
demonic, dude.
Yeah, like the it was perfect.
Dude, I thought he was making a bad face at The Rock at first, so I
thought that too.
And then he kicks Cody right in the crotch, and I'm just like, oh my god, they did it.
Yeah,
like just losing my mind.
Like 3 or 4 emotions in that whole little segment. Say that Cena and Cody hug, and then Cena's face turns, and then he's looking at The Rock. I'm like, all right, well, he's probably just saying, hey, keep your distance. We have a background, but I know you know me, blah blah. But then you see Rock do the whole you're done, and I'm like, oh my god, it's happening. And then he kicks Cody. I'm like, here we go. Like, we were talking about the fact that out of the two baby faces, you're gonna have to turn somebody. Now, if you wanted to do Cody as the heel, would have been fine, but you're probably gonna lose that small kid demographic because they're gonna want to see Cody still as the good guy. But for Cena, he's at that top level where most of his fans are like us, where we grew up watching him and we've been waiting for this turn. So it's not even the fact that he's still getting booed, but he's gonna have that cheerful part of it because we've been waiting for this for decades and never thought it would come.
Yeah, I am just geeking out that you and I are fans and paying attention to wrestling right now.
Yeah.
And getting to witness this.
It's a good time.
Dude. Here's how I know that was just really, really obvious. Obviously, I knew the epic proportions of the Cena heel turn after all that time. When I wake up Sunday morning a little early to wrap up a work thing that I needed to do, I tell Cheyenne I'm going in the living room to do this work thing real quick. Might take a half hour. 15 minutes later, I hear the start of the chamber match coming on in the bedroom, and I'm like, Are you watching the chamber again? I was like, I grabbed the laptop and I went in and I was like, I'm gonna finish this work. I was just like so hyped that she's like, yeah, I want to see this again.
Yeah.
And not even just the Rock Cody Cena ending. She watched the whole chamber match again.
That's awesome.
And I was like, this is just pure bliss right here.
Yeah.
I mean, we also got the news the day before that we are relocating again. So big stuff happening, like I said on the episode last week. Just universe is being we've been working really hard, and it's like, wow, so this is what being an adult and like being responsible and like fighting for things that you want in life, like the payoff for big things like coming our way.
Yeah, I'm stoked for you guys.
Yeah, just wanted to get that in there. That all came to fruition Saturday, and then came home and the chamber happened. It was
a day.
I had a great birthday and weekend.
That's awesome.
This year, and that was a big part of it. And Sunday morning, getting to watch that ending back again, and I'm like, and Shine's like, this is like the best pay-per-view I've ever seen. And I said, like, you can't put it up against WrestleMania. It's just not fair. It's like when we talk about the Marvel movies, and I'm like, well, you can't compare the standalone films to the phase ending, like like the trilogy phase, like when they did Infinity War and Endgame. I'm like, you can't touch that. You can't touch that. So saying that the chamber was better than WrestleMania 40, I would like, they're just different categories, dude.
Right.
Dude, just I feel like you and I could sit here and just talk about that moment for another hour.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about this for a long time.
I think we definitely saw the Hogan turn of our era on Saturday night. You know, and I've seen that play out a lot on social media. The fact that this has been compared to the time that Hogan, you know, turned and, you know, joined the NWO. It's definitely, you know, that feeling that everybody, like, you know, even the people that we thought, you know, were hoping Cena turns heel, but like he probably never will. But when it does, you're like, they executed it perfectly. It didn't happen during a match, didn't happen, you know, in a backstage segment or something where you had to mysteriously find out and then come back to it months later. They just set it off right there, and I'm stoked because I'm ready to see what else they have in store, because obviously there's some things with you know, no, I wasn't gonna say, but yeah, I just can't wait for the rest of this to map out. There's so much to dissect.
It certainly helps that you have Dwayne Johnson, Mr. Hollywood. Like, I mean, 22 years ago, he was Hollywood Rock.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock is literally the biggest star in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and John Cena is not too far behind him in the realm of acting. I mean, The Rock is like up here on another level.
Yeah.
And John Cena's on his way up, but you have two literally movie star actors.
Right.
And Cody Rhodes is like, no pressure. You're in the ring with these two guys, and you're about to be the one that's carrying the biggest storyline in wrestling since Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. This is the biggest thing. And it's crazy to think, like, that Bloodline story that we had, I mean, the culmination of 2-3 years with the Bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that's not to say that storyline is even over. I think that's just taking a rest
Definitely taking a
before
rest.
before it picks up again, because we're gonna get The Rock and Roman. Um, I think next year WrestleMania is I mean, it's got to be it, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's eventually where they're going towards. But I just love the long term storytelling with this. Rock and Hunter and everybody are working, day and night to really make sure that they are putting on a stellar product. And I think once again they are just blowing it out of the water. And I don't even think they had to pull a thing of like whether if it goes this way, we pull this trigger. If it goes this way, we pull that trigger. I think it was just a hole in one, turning Cena heel. Uh, I mean, no more perfect time to do that. I'm just stoked to
Well,
see how he adapts, because I showed you that video earlier today that the first time he was expected to go heel, like he had bought a whole nother outfit to really commit to it, but then they just
mhm.
denied, they didn't want to do it, so he ended up just staying babyface. But it'll be interesting if he still has that idea of like, okay, I changed my whole gear, and like it'll be interesting how we see Cena heel, or heel Cena, like really working the crowd, and you know if he denies a lot of his hustle, loyalty, and respect gimmicks, if they come off, or I'm just stoked to see how far into this character he goes to really make people even more pissed at him.
Well, I I'd have to expect that, just like The Rock, it's like, if I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Like,
Right.
Triple H said in the presser, he's like, I have no idea what heel Cena looks like, and I can't wait to see it.
Right.
So, um, I can't wait to see what his music is. It better be good. Um, None of that. What is it, Def Rebel, that does most of their stuff that people just trash on them about. I think it's Def. I think Def Rebel's the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't wait. I don't know if we get Cena's new theme music before WrestleMania or if they debut it at WrestleMania. I feel like we're just
Yeah.
gonna get.
I don't know.
It's tough.
I'm still 50-50 on whether Cena wins, but I think if you're going to give Cena the heel turn, and he's not,
I think he's getting
I
it.
think he might be getting it.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Cody can also, try to have another match at SummerSlam. He can have something in the fall and then get it back next WrestleMania once Cena has officially retired. But
Yeah,
I think this is perfect, man. I'm stoked. This
I'm
whole season is going to be awesome.
takeaways from Raw tonight. Let's get through that. And
Yeah,
then
let's quickly get through that. I mean, the biggest takeaway was the Io Sky and Rhea Ripley match. Io Sky takes the belt off of Rhea Ripley, and going into it, obviously, I'm like, there's no way Rhea Ripley goes out of this, without the belt, because it seems like they were having conversations of having Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley fight in WrestleMania, and they've had a lot of good NXT matches. So I'm like, perfect, let's run it back. But when she started having that debacle with Bianca outside of the ring, I'm like, something's gonna happen. And I'm like, and then once she started really talking trash, I'm like, she's gonna lose. And
I thought that Bianca caused the DQ. I was like
yeah,
surprised the bell didn't ring. You know,
yeah, I thought so too. Because I mean, I guess because she didn't officially intervene, but it was more verbal than actual physical, you know,
I
something.
I
But
think
yeah,
the ref didn't call because they were just pushing each other. It wasn't like full blown throwing
yeah,
punches kind of thing. Yeah, as soon as Rhea had Io up and was going to hit the Riptide from the top and turned to Bianca and was like, I'll see you at WrestleMania, I was like, Rhea's losing.
Never mind.
Never mind. And I gotta say, I'm stoked. I thought last week, like, oh, maybe they do swerve us and give us Io versus Bianca. And again, that was if Bianca won the chamber, which I think we both said we were pretty sure she was getting that chamber win.
Yeah. And the Io Sky and Ripley match was good. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. I thought it was interesting that they had Io do Kairi Sane's elbow and Asuka's submission.
I saw that, and they mentioned it, saying like, having her do the Asuka lock and everything. So that was pretty cool.
Should make their return interesting because nothing is by accident anymore. Everything is thought about.
Mm-hmm.
So her using Kairi's and Asuka's like finishers or signatures, we'll see how that plays out.
Right.
I'm excited for that. I'm also now like, okay, what does Rhea Ripley do at WrestleMania? It's just crazy.
I thought of that too. Like, does she, because there's no more pay-per-views, so what does she do? Does she try to, intervene with Io Sky, and then it goes to Bianca Belair for the belt? I don't know. But all I know is Hunter and Dwayne got something up their sleeves with everything, so I'm not worried.
No, and I think every episode until the Monday after WrestleMania is just, it's going to be all wrestling at this point because this Mania season is going to be stacked and something.
Yeah.
And I feel like they almost have every show planned out between like leading up to Mania and even after. Like when I say planned out, mapped out, I mean like what storylines are building and when. And then they just got to fill in matches and make the matches kind of tie into everything. And then they have people backstage that help produce the matches. Like that's not Triple H's doing. He's just creating the stories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess other notable takeaway is we're getting AJ Styles calling out Logan Paul next week. So seems like AJ Styles, Logan Paul at WrestleMania, not mad about that whatsoever.
That should be another. I mean, again, anything Logan Paul touches is just pure gold. So I don't know how he keeps on doing it, dude. That'll be a stellar match.
There's not a lot that you and I disagree on. Like, there's not a lot of people that like I love and you're like, yeah, I don't really care for him, or that you are super behind, and I'm like, meh. I'm glad that you and I both feel the same way about Logan Paul. We're like, this guy,
he deserves it. I mean,
he's a freaking star.
Of any of the the celebrity type, wrestlers that have tried to just come in and just do like the Bad Bunnies and all those. Yeah, I mean, I think Bad Bunny was good, but Logan Paul, he just has the it factor. He has like if I didn't know he had a podcast, I would have just been like, yeah, this is just him being a wrestler. This is something that he's going to be a main guy later on, but him doing the podcasting and going up and doing all this stuff, but the dude hustles, so he's stellar.
I want to know how Travis Scott got so involved in WWE. Like, I want to know if like The Rock knows him and it was like, I'm going to do him a favor, and like being that The Rock has power on the board. Apparently, Travis Scott's going to be involved in this going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, supposedly he's going to be doing some wrestling. So, he slapped the hell out of Cody during that thing, dude. Did you hear like somebody's got to tell Travis Scott like this stuff is like, even though it's fake, but it's fake. Like you ain't really hitting the dude. Like,
yeah, someone I did see something that was like, I think somebody forgot to tell Travis Scott that they pull the punches, which means like you throw the punch, but you pull it.
Right.
You pull it at the very end, which makes it, a scripted hit. It's not full-blown MMA fighting kind of style. But he really laid into Cody, and I was like, Cheyenne was like, I'm mad at Travis Scott. He really hit Cody hard. I was like, he's getting a receipt for it, I promise. And she's like, what's a receipt? Explain it to me. I was like, so this one time, Braun Strowman actually kind of really hit Brock Lesnar harder than he should have. And Brock Lesnar's receipt was a nice big old punch in the face
Mhm.
right in the match. You and I talked about that too. We were like, dude, did you see Brock actually lay in to
Right.
Braun? And I was like, that's a receipt. And I think Bad Bunny is going to be the one to be delivering it to Travis Scott. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting what they do. But obviously, like, it's one of those things like, oh, he's just there for flash. But, you know, I think it's also like, having like a side piece for Rock to kind of, you know, have another little part of his gimmick showing. And
Yep.
I like how during the presser, the person that asked The Rock, like, so are you a heel? Is it a heel character? Is it a baby face? And I liked how Rock was able to say that this is like, to me, he can be heel or a baby face. It just depends on the situation and what he's going through. So it's he can be on both ends of the spectrum. And he was saying that's what something we've been telling the wrestlers is you know it's old school to say like you have your heels and your baby faces where now it's like you have to find something that's going to reinvent that same thing. So yeah, I think
He's,
just the whole concept of that and then thinking that with the merch is awesome.
yeah, I feel like The Rock is just like practicing acting in ways that he doesn't necessarily get casted for roles in
Hmm.
movies. And he's like, I think I can I can I'm blessed to be able to do what I want to do. And if I want to have fun with the crowd, if I want to hype them up for WrestleMania 42, if
Hmm.
I want if I want to start singing a song and tell them no, The Rock's going to sing this song, he's he's playing this manipulative
I was
boss.
gonna say he's playing the manipulative card. So
Yeah,
this is
it's
probably the best work Rock's been doing in a while. Like, and I think he's having fun with it too because he's able to have like so much creative control on it too.
I mean, it's the best work he's ever done. Let's be serious, right?
Right.
Like, and it's so fun that he is on that level to be able to do that and be so important without him having to wrestle matches, right?
Yeah.
Like that tag match at Mania last year was great. And then if we only ever get him and Roman one on one and that's it for The Rock, like I'll be fine with it if he's involved in the way that he is and taking advantage of he's basically like the authority. He's the Vince McMahon now, which is great because Triple H gets to be the good guy always, right?
Yeah.
Um, and and he should be. Like I think it's great that he's the head of the company and he's so loved by everyone. Like keep it that way.
Yeah,
You
because he
should,
can play both
right?
ends. Like, he can be saying like, "Yeah, I'm head of the company," giving like good vibes to it, but then just automatically just shift like that and be like, "No, dude, like you're like don't clap. I'll tell you when to clap." And so again, creative control on that aspect, and we haven't seen a character like that where it's almost like a tweener type thing where you're babyface and heel. But I think Rock is playing it on the fact that he just is trying to be himself. He doesn't know how he's going to react to every single promo. It just depends on what the situation is. So you're coming into like almost like a new form of how to present yourself in the ring because so
Well,
many old school concepts are there, but now this is like a newer concept they're trying to work out.
yeah, and I think tweener is like Randy Orton being a tweener is like okay, he can be a face in this match
Yeah,
this week or for these couple weeks, and then he can go back to being a heel. And then he's so loved by everyone, even as a heel, that if he wants to face, if he wants to have, if they wanted him to have a match against a heel, he could turn and be a face, or they could both kind of be heels, but he basically be playing the face. I feel like Rock is saying, I want to do that, but I want to be able to flip back and forth
yeah,
within one promo,
exactly.
within like one night and he's able to just turn like it's haven't seen anything like it ever and it's just
No,
so fresh and brilliant, man. Raw next week, CM Punk and Seth Rollins cage match.
in
it,
MSG.
it in Madison Square Garden. I mean, it's got to be Roman Reigns, right?
I think we're pulling for that. I think they're pulling for that in MSG. So I think we might
Yeah.
get appearance from Roman Reigns. And let's just say before MSG, SmackDown is in Philly this week. So, I mean, unfortunately, we're not going to be there, but we will be watching. And, if anybody's going, let us know. And, let us know your experiences. I think this is probably one of the better ones. And I knew once everything happened and went down on Saturday night, the SmackDown tickets were going to be jumping up way high. And they definitely took a big increase. Which they
Yeah, I
should,
bet.
And usually after a lot of these things, everybody wants to see, the top guys to see what happens. So
Well, and coming off of the Chamber, Raw was really good tonight.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
in ways that it's like, okay, we know that stuff is setting up. I mean, the CM Punk Seth Rollins stuff on Raw, CM Punk's opening promo and calling The Rock,
yeah.
a bald fraud. I was like, no, he did not. Shut
That's
up.
perfect.
Shut up.
It's like a mini pipe bomb that he did tonight, but don't call it a pipe bomb, but it was a pipe bomb in a way.
Yeah. Basically, I
Vintage
thought
CM
that
Punk.
I thought we were I thought we were getting I thought the Chamber match was like, I literally messaged you and Matt and was like, this is the John Cena CM Punk send off that we're getting right here. Like this
Yeah.
is it. Nope. We are definitely getting John Cena versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship in 2025.
I think
guys.
everybody that he called out, those are everybody he's going to be going in contact with. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, CM Punk going after Cena, and I mean, I don't think him and Dwayne are going to have a match, but
no,
I was like, I think CM Punk and Seth Rollins, it was like, okay, what do they do after Rollins? Because like that was like the immediate, like you knew Seth Rollins' reaction when CM Punk came back. We thought that was going to culminate at WrestleMania. They have managed to stretch it out until this WrestleMania. We're getting Roman Reigns involved. I got the only other thing I can think of is like, okay, well, if CM Punk is going to Roman Reigns next, that doesn't make sense because they're both babyface. So it feels very much like, I mean, maybe we do get CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for a little bit, and then we get CM Punk going after John Cena.
yeah.
My thing then is like, what do you do with Seth Rollins? My thing is, and I meant to say this earlier too, the Rhea and Io match, Cheyenne was like, Rhea's winning this, right? And I was like, unless Becky Lynch comes out. But the only reason why I thought that definitely wasn't happening was because CM Punk brought up Becky Lynch in the promo. I was like, at the beginning of the show, I was like, we're getting AJ Lee. I
think that'll be the next one that everybody freaks out if that actually happens.
Yeah, if you
and you're stupid to think that hasn't been a conversation already from CM Punk coming back. That hasn't been a thought to him to try to convince AJ to come back.
Yeah, I mean, come on, like come on.
And I think when he's been asked, he hasn't denied it, and he hasn't tried to say yes or no. But it seems like it's like, I just need to convince her.
Yeah.
Or she needs to be given the right paycheck to do it,
Or she's been working all of this time, and when she's happy with where she's at with it, she'll say, okay, I'm ready, and then Triple H will start putting it to work.
Yeah, of course.
Because I feel like CM Punk and Seth Rollins is going to be like a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, just like Fight Forever, dude. Like,
yeah,
there's no world at this point where CM Punk and Seth Rollins are going to work on the same page, right? I feel like we're missing something.
I think we hit most of the bulletin points.
I will say, I did catch the highlights from the Hardy Boys match.
Yeah.
On NXT last week. a little interesting that we have 5 tag teams on SmackDown that are. I mean, you saw the Brawl on SmackDown last week, right? Where like all
Mhm.
of those tag teams are going at each other. I'm
Yeah.
like, do they insert the Hardy Boys into WrestleMania once again?
Right. Yeah, I know it's really coming down to like contemplating with Jeff, and hopefully he doesn't like revert back to his
Mhm.
ways and everything. But I would definitely like to hope that they get one more big run in WWE before they retire, because they're going to be inducted sometime eventually. But it'll be good to see them both in. Excuse me. It'll be good to see them both end their careers in a WWE ring like they should. They've contributed so much to the company over the years and given us stellar matches. I mean, what's not to give them one more big run on the main roster? And I think this is their test now with Jeff to see how he is in the under, and then if they see that he's reliable, they'll shoot them up to the main roster.
Yeah, I
It's
think
just a
it's like,
matter of
hey,
time.
we will leave you right on TNA. We'll keep you in NXT for a little bit, see how you're doing, see the progress you're making.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that the Hardy Boys are going to land in WrestleMania this year, but I could definitely see them getting there next year, and then
Hmm.
that'll probably be their last Mania, and they'll be good.
Yeah.
Um, anything else, Anth? I
Dude,
feel like Braun Breaker, Finn Balor was interesting. I don't know.
I didn't catch the whole promo. I was doing some things, but I know they had talked with each other, so I'll have to go back and listen to that a little bit. But I'm all for it. I think like I said, slowly Finn is distancing himself with the group, and they're eventually gonna bring in somebody, and it's gonna tear him out of there. But you can see that there's been the demon logo in the background somewhere of when Finn's been doing his promos backstage with the Judgment Day. So the demon's coming back eventually. So we'll have to just see how it appears and what happens and what triggers that. So
I, I am glad that they reserve that for like they literally don't even do it once a year. It's like rarely. I think the last
yeah,
time was Mania 39 against Edge 2 years
yes,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah,
2 or 3
yeah,
years. Yeah, that was the last time we saw the demon,
yeah.
and I think it's due for for it again. So
Good with it.
dude, so much to pack in.
Yeah.
But hey, we're both stoked on this. To all our WWE fans and listeners of the podcast, you know, share this out with your friends. We got a lot more wrestling to talk about over the next 6 weeks, Jim, until WrestleMania. I
Let me,
think
I let me see real quick. By the time this comes out on Friday, it'll be 6 weeks.
6 weeks. So we'll be dedicated to a lot of wrestling for you guys. We hope you're ready for it, because we'll be dissecting Raw and SmackDown probably for these next couple weeks, and still continue to talk about the storylines and what we're going to be getting. So I'm stoked. I know Jim's stoked. Let us know what you thought of the PLE. Let us know what you guys are thinking about Raw, how everything's going to be turning out. And, again, welcome to the road to WrestleMania, guys. This has been fun. Anything else you guys say, bud?
Uh, this is episode 166, all the way through episode 173. It's gonna be WrestleMania season and the fallout from WrestleMania. Um, I am ready for this one.
Yeah.
I know, like 2 weeks ago was very. I actually like that it's not like, okay, the Royal Rumble's here and everything's just off to the races. Like the way that they slow burn this build for WrestleMania. Now everything's packed. All of the Netflix Raw episodes are going to be insane. All of the SmackDown episodes are going to be insane. I think the viewership is going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's like the starter gun just went off, and everything is like just starting to go haywire. So
I mean,
this is exciting.
this is like the playoffs for any sports. How long did the playoffs last? Like 6 weeks. I know
Something like that.
football. Yeah, football is a wild card round, a division round, a conference round for 3 weeks. You get your break before the Super Bowl, so it's 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So, like Triple H said, we have a little bit longer now. This Mania being 2 weeks later, it kind of makes sense that they lined everything up this way. Anthony and I know that we are just stoked for all of this, and for everyone else joining us along the way. Let us know what you think of the ride. We are on the road to WrestleMania. 6 more weeks, man.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in again. You know where to find us at One Set Pod, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Share us with a friend. If you are a wrestling fan, this is where you need to be, watching the One Set Podcast, doing the thing. We'll see you guys on another episode next week. See you guys.
All love you.